Alejandro with another BTR Blueprint to Reality. And this one is all about the trim work. I probably did all the Victoria's Secrets on Florida and in Puerto Rico. There's roughly like 35 stores, 5 in Puerto Rico and 30 all throughout the or throughout Florida, right? And this particular refresh is, they call it the VS refresh. Okay, they send you this little guideline. It's divided by store. This is the store right here, International Plaza. They send you a little blueprint of the store. Very simple schematics that they sent over. It tells you the room, and it's super important that you use those coding because they will ask you to send pictures and videos of each of those rooms. And you need to name your email based on that, or BSL1 right, BSL1 left, BSL3, BSL2, bra salon, beauty. That's how they call each of those rooms, right? Super important. They discard the email if it's not named correctly. So we go here, BSL1, and the scope of work is right at the top. Let's see. We have to remove the existing drum shape, patch and repair the area. That was an interesting. I will create a separate video just for that because that alone is a whole little project on its own. Let's see. GC to paint the gypsum board ceiling with the specific paint. With the exceptions. Tells you what to do to remove the vinyl. Those are like little stickers that it had like above the this little area right here. Bam, had a little sticker that I forgot what it said. Victoria's Secret or something along the line. I had to sand it and then paint it. That was pretty cool. Let's see, lighting. The store associates to replace existing. Well, of course, that's associate, no GC scope. GC to provide paint and install applied trim on the walls. That's the part right there. That trim right there. Let's go ahead and pull our thing. That trim is what we're going to discuss in this video. In this one, you can see it clearly. Let's get a different color. Let me see if there's a specific detail for it. Nope. Oh yeah, here it is. There we go. It tells you the peony trim. That's what they call it. Fancy, right? Fancy. That's a trim. You have to put it everywhere. All over the store. It will tell you the dimensions. There we go. This is where it's at. It will tell you the spacing in between. And then how it varies. Kind of like wainscoting, right? A good trim guy, good interior carpenter does a lot of trim work. You give this blueprint and he'll understand what to do. Now the important part is creating the process to make it happen, and I think that's where you need to start doing some thinking and putting together a little system so you guys go in and as efficient as possible and you start making money. You don't want to lose money in these stores, right? That's the most important thing. Let's see. Interesting details here for painting. I'll probably create another video for paint. The store, we remove all the graphics and stuff like that. We did that already. I'll create another video for that. There's a canopy on another video. Trim work right here. It'll tell you all the details. You need to follow this down to the T. They do this all throughout the United States. So when you send these pictures and they see something they don't like, that's on you. They send very clear instructions. Okay, so the process is simple, and this is the best way I found out how to do it. First step, on the first night, you want to make sure your carpenter shows up as soon as the store closes. So, for example, the store closes at 9 p.m. You have to be there right before 9 p.m., probably 8:30. Talk to the store managers and explain the process. And you want to make sure you're in communicating with them
because they're gonna hand you over the key, and in another video I'll create a whole separate video just for that, or how I did it and how to be successful with it, and some of the challenges sometimes you overcome with it. Arrive early. As soon as the door closes, they kick all the choppers or customers out. Then it's just the ladies, putting together the clothes and closing out the store, and your crew. Your carpenter needs to grab the uh, the schematics of the trim work, and he needs to start measuring all the walls of the store. And if you recall earlier where I showed you the little diagram of how they call each store or each section, BSL1, BSL2, Beauty 3, Beauty 4, whatever they call it, you create a little blueprint of each wall with pictures of each face. 1, 2, 3, 4. You start naming it. 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, whatever, makes the most sense for you. And you start drawing and calculating all that trim work, the width, the length, the height, the design. And you do that so the carpenter can go home early that night, and he can wake up early next day and start cutting those trim work. He'll get on the saw and start cutting them and naming them on the back and putting them together. And that process takes a long time. It's like almost like a whole store can be like 2 days or 3 days of just cutting. However, we'll do it in batch, right? Like every night we'll do a separate room, as you saw there at the BSL 1, 2, or 3. So each night is different, and you want to make sure he accomplish a couple of nights in sequence. So he'll get to cutting, and as soon as he cut them, then the painter goes and spray them with paint. You want to at least get the base coat going, right? Because the trim comes from the factory and you're just plain wood, and it's not primed wood. Typically for this type of trim, we use half round. That's what they wanted. Kind of like, full circle. You divide it in half and you end up with half round, right? And that's essentially what you do. You get it painted or primed, the first coat, and once it's installed, then you do the final coat. Carpenter cuts, painter paint. At nighttime, then you guys go in and only take the trim that's gonna be installed at nighttime. And you have the carpenter set a laser throughout the whole room. Everything needs to be level and continuous. You need a 360 level, a laser. You shoot the laser and the carpenter starts installing. And as soon as the carpenter starts, the painter is behind them caulking the corners. And what you do is that most likely you won't be able to paint the same night. Not always works like that. Depends on the room. Sometimes they're big. So you have to grab the caulk and you need to paint the caulk. You add some paint to the caulk, and then there's this contraction. Not sure the name of it right now, but it's a product you can remove the back lid of the caulk bottle, right? And it's exposed. You add a certain amount of the paint. In this case, it's gonna be dark black. You put the lid back, or you put the machine in, and you kind of like pump it, and that will mix the caulk inside the tube for you to caulk with the same color. So now you have the caulk already painted. As soon as the carpenter installed the trim, you have the caulk guy go around the corners, caulking, covering the holes, putty. And so that way the next day you get a finished. It's not gonna be a finished product, but also some of the customers don't even realize that it's up, because it looks nice. It looks nice. It looks better once the next night the whole crew comes in and spray paint the whole room, right? And then the carpenter's already on the next area building up the trim work. He's already putting up trim work, and you have another painter out there caulking with a different color. And that's the beauty of it. You build that system and just go room by room, boom, boom, one right after the other. and before you even know it, you have the whole store painted. It took a whole week to paint a store like that. Uh, Perhaps two carpenters, thinking two carpenters and two painters and one helper, like walking around bringing product up and down and whatnot. And that's essentially the process that we went through to paint the stores and become successful. Some of this stuff you have to think of it, and some of it, like when you bid the project, you try to figure out the way that you're gonna do it, and you have to ask questions to the project stakeholders to understand what the timeline looks like. um, I think the way we did it, it was super successful. It took us almost a whole year to do 35 stores, and we traveled all around the Florida and all throughout Puerto Rico rebuilding these stores, and that was a nice project. Loved it, especially once you train the people and they travel with you and you go hit all of the stores at once. It's beautiful. It becomes a well-oiled machine. So, um, but the money is in the process, right? You can take out the carpenters and you can plug them right in, but you tell them specifically what you want done, and that's where you make money as a general contractor on this type of projects. Um, so, with that being said, if you like this type of video, this type of content, the blueprint to reality, I'm trying my best to post all the knowledge that I gathered throughout these years of the videos that I have on my phone, and I'm trying to upload it and trying to find the blueprints of that we work at the time, and see if you like this content. If you like it, just drop a comment down and make sure to subscribe and like my videos. And if you have a project you want to discuss, that's my passion, is construction, and I love looking at new things. So shoot me a message. I have my LinkedIn in my profile. Just go in there, follow me, hit me up through LinkedIn. Let me know, hey, I saw your video on YouTube. Let's talk, and you're gonna get me right on. Okay. So thanks for watching, and see you later.